Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is a Friday. Today's guests are brought to you, including Ian Furness, by Langley Chrysler. Don't struggle to find a great deal on newer used vehicles when Langley Chrysler has over 200 vehicles on the lot. Save up to $10,500 on Ram at Langley Chrysler, in-store or online at langleychrysler.com. Seahawks losing to the Rams 26-17. Here to talk about it, among other things, from KJR Radio in Seattle and Fox 13 Sports is Ian Furness. How are you, sir?
Gentlemen, good morning. How are you?
Lovely. Oh, I'm liking the look. What's that hat? What's on the hat here?
That's Helinski's Hope, raising awareness for mental health among college athletes, specifically college football players, after Tyler Helinski committed suicide. Okay. His family started that foundation years ago. All right.
Ian, Seahawks
yes.
Last night, tough turn. Do the Seahawks win if Russell Wilson doesn't get hurt?
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think it mattered because the defense couldn't stop anybody. They gave up 300 yards in the second half, and Russell's not playing defense. And Geno Smith, frankly, led them on 2 scoring drives before they threw that last minute interception. So I'm not sure what else they could have done offensively with Russell in there when Geno went in. And that's blasphemous, I know, but I think it was more, and really it has been all year, more of a defensive issue than anything else, guys.
You talk about the defense and what happened last night. During the broadcast, much was made about the Seahawks defense being the 32nd ranked defense in the National Football League. What are the major issues there, Ian?
It's Jamal Adams. He's a liability. It's like playing with 10 players right now. They can't figure out how to use their $70 million safety, the highest paid safety in the game. Doesn't have a sack, doesn't have a quarterback hit, doesn't have a hurry this year. He's not paid to cover people in the secondary, and when he does try to cover people, you saw the end result. Deshaun Jackson went 68 yards yesterday when he just completely misplayed the ball. His ball skills are atrocious for a secondary player, or for any NFL player. They're atrocious. Doesn't pick up the ball, can't cover. So unless he's blitzing and making a play in the offensive team's backfield, he's a non-factor. It's playing with 10 players. Wow. It is a crisis code red situation with him, man. I don't know what they can do. They just re-signed him, and he's just killing this team, and I think it's starting to affect the locker room as well.
Ian, can we go back to Wilson's injury? 10 days, next game against the Steelers. Is there any early word? I read a lot of stuff on Twitter last night. He's a fast healer. No one heals more like Russell Wilson. Just any early word on how long he could be out?
Well, there's a lot of different reports. Pete Carroll just had a news conference, or is in the middle of this news conference right now, the day after news conference, and they're sending him down to California. He's going to see a hand specialist down there. They're fearing right now that it's something called mallet finger, which is some tendon damage, and it could require surgery. Russell's the kind of guy. I mean, he's going to push and push and push. He played basically on a high ankle sprain and a knee sprain on separate legs, and a few years ago and gutted it out. But I mean, that's a little different. Being immobile and just having to sit back there and chuck, it's one thing. If you can't throw it effectively, that's a totally different situation with the quarterback. And, my understanding is, and I, like everybody else, we're all checking with, folks we know in the medical field and orthopedics and so forth. But if it is indeed this mallet finger thing, and they can't, I'm not sure if 9 days will heal it. It sounds like it could be a longer term injury. So it's wait and see right now. It certainly does help to not have to play Pittsburgh until, a week from Sunday, but 9 days may not be enough.
Gerald Everett, did I read that he had 5 negative COVID tests and still didn't get in? What's going on there?
It's just a gong show, man. It really is. This whole COVID thing, there's so many inconsistencies. I think we all agree it's good to be safe and cautious and everything else. He's fully vaccinated. He tested positive, really had minor symptoms, if any at all. Tested negative over and over again, but then that was rapid tests. We all go there to the facility, do rapid tests all the time. But if there is a positive, then they send it off. And unfortunately, for some reason, I mean, we've got the University of Washington Medical Center in our backyard. I guess we have to send it to California. They must be smarter down there than us. So they send these tests down there, then they got to fly them back. It's a process. The Seahawks were not happy. I'll tell you that. They were sideways with the protocols of the NFL yesterday. But it's the world we live in right now, unfortunately, and so it costs them because they just don't get anything out of that position. And this new offense, they need that position to be effective.
Ian, hockey. What are you reading to the Kraken finishing their first preseason 4-2?
See, I'm accused of being too negative with the Kraken, so I better be careful here.
Okay, all right.
But I would say it's more realistic. I believe they played Abbotsford in their first preseason game in Spokane.
Yes.
And then they played a combination of Abbotsford and bottom 6 and bottom 4 guys, right, in the next game. So, the two of those wins against the Canucks, I correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't see Besser, Hughes, or Pedersen out there. Is that correct?
Besser played the first game, I believe, but Pedersen and Hughes weren't there.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? I think they're going to be competitive. I mean, Grubauer makes them competitive every night. You guys saw that the other night up close. I mean, he's gonna keep them in games. I don't know if they can score. I'm not sure if relying on Vince Dunn's goal scoring as a second power play defenseman is accurate representation of what's going to happen during the year. I think they'll play hard. I do think that. I think when you watch them play, I think Hackstall has them. I think they'll be really aggressive inside the other team's zone. I think they're going to try to cycle the puck a little bit. They don't have the best size in the world, but I think they'll grind away at you a little bit. But I'm just not sure who the finishers are.
I know you have a Canadian connection in your life, so I'm going to wish you we're running behind here. As we let you go, happy Canadian Thanksgiving, Ian.
You guys as well. I jumped the gun. I thought it was last week, so I made my wife dinner as we're empty nesters for Canadian Thanksgiving, and I was a week early. So my mom, should I say, my mom was a little disappointed, but it was still a good meal, so we'll do it again this week.
All the best. Talk to you next Friday.
You bet.
Yeah. Ian Furness from KJR in Seattle.